We'll call the meeting of the Town of Groton Golf Advisory Board to order. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from December 7th.
So move.
You have a second? Oh, sorry. Brad, it's you and me.
Second.
Any comments or feedback?
I'm sorry, what date of that? Minutes on
December
was
7th.
December 7th.
7th, sorry.
No, it's okay. I had no comments.
I have,
Okay. So Cindy, you want to make the motion to approve?
So moved.
Excellent. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Minutes accepted as read.
So Cindy, before we jump off minutes, I just wanted to have in the minutes that thank you to Dave Bauer for being the secretary for the last couple of years. He did an excellent job, was very diligent, and would call me sometimes 2 or 3 times after a meeting to make sure that he had captured what was said in the meeting. So I certainly appreciated that and was surprised that he has decided to step away from the Golf Advisory Board. And I think I speak for the entire Golf Advisory Board that he will be missed. And that opens up another spot on the Golf Advisory Board. I think we're up to 3 open spots now. So I think it's people need to start reaching out and thinking about who would make would offer some positive feedback to the Golf Advisory Board.
Okay. Are the openings, we have at least one non-resident, correct?
That is correct. 1 non-resident and I believe two residents.
Okay. All right.
So Margaret and Brad, maybe you guys can chat that up a bit.
Yeah, and maybe we look outside this direct community as well.
Yes.
As long as they are invested in Shennecossett. I mean,
Or can provide some good advice and have
Right.
some,
Right.
right.
Okay, yep,
will do.
we can do that.
Thank you.
Okey-doke.
So I'm sorry, Margaret, I'm not even going to ask if anyone would step up to be secretary because I know what the answer is. So I will take the minutes as best I can.
Okay.
I'm actually doing them right now, Mark, and I promise not to lose them this time.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I stand corrected.
I
Thank you, Brad. Wow. You've got
Go.
more than I have written down already. So you're hired.
There we go. But absolutely, thank you to Mr. Bauer for his service on the Golf
Yes.
Advisory Board. Okay, next topic on the agenda, citizens petitions and comments. Hearing none. New correspondence, communication from the board members.
Repeat, Margaret. I missed part of that. What did you say?
The next item on the agenda is new correspondence / communications from board members. Okay. Hearing none. We'll move on to the golf course reports.
Well, you should have received December and January financial report.
Yes.
We had a good month this past month, despite the loss of basically the last 10 days. But overall, fiscal year to date, we're 705,000, and last fiscal year, which, to remind, was a record year, we were at 586,000. So we're doing quite well. As the golf committee, Mark, Eric, and myself, we were talking about, the prospects of the upcoming year. And we think that the COVID bounce, so-called, will last through this season. I have to believe it.
I think you might be right. Yeah, we just have to obviously pay attention to any kind of weather. If we end up with a wacky weather winter.
Sure.
But I agree. I think when we get around to the spring, we should be in fairly good shape.
I think so.
And then the other thing is, what are we going to do to continue to, I hate to do this to you, Todd, but to continue to grow? So that when the COVID bounce goes away, we still have a fairly strong base.
Well,
We can think about those things.
Sure, of course. We're always.
Sorry, Todd.
Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say, I do think we have already taken one step towards that, and we're into our second year, and it's paying off in great dividends, and that's the associate and the associate plus.
Yes.
Both of those, I think, have done extraordinarily well. And I think the other thing that we did was we created the membership timeline is now flexible to better meet people's needs. And I think that has helped tremendously also. So I think we've taken some steps, but to your point, we can't rest on those forever, because other courses, if they haven't caught on yet, they're going to soon enough.
Exactly.
So I think that we need to continue to pay attention. There's a lot of great information that comes out of the National Golf Foundation, and I think we need to see what they're doing and just pay attention to what other businesses that are doing well, that we can perhaps steal ideas from them and apply them to the golf course.
I agree.
The last significant bounce was the Tiger bounce starting in '97. And
right.
if this is any, if history can repeat itself, that was a 3 to 4 year sustained bounce. So,
yes.
So we've seen people that are coming back to the game, that are new to the game. So that it's not going to be, in my opinion, a flash in the pan, that it's going to be somewhat lasting. And if history is predictive, then, from the Tiger bounce, then I hope that we see a 3 to 4 year sustained bounce.
Excellent news.
What was that? 07, Todd?
97.
Sorry, 97.
When he came on,
Yeah.
it
when
was
he came on.
crazy, the bounce that we saw. Suddenly, instead of 5 kids coming out for the Fitch golf team, we saw 50 kids come out for the golf team. It was crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe if DeChambeau keeps hitting 400-yard drives, he can that bounce as well. Crazy.
It is crazy.
No, so hopefully, yeah, I agree that this continues on for a bit. Okay. Any other questions about the report? No. Hearing none. Move on to the marketing report.
So we are currently reviewing the contract with the Connecticut PGA to host the Senior Open for the next 3 years. And we've added, are in the process of adding a zip code requirement to the online tee time registration so that we can begin to capture where people are coming from and use
good.
that information when we do promotions so that we have a better understanding of where people are coming from and will help us target our marketing based on that information.
Oh, I think that's good. Yeah.
Yes.
And it would be interesting with that, I mean, this is just me, to look at the difference between the winter months and the rest of the year. To look at because I'm sure we've got a lot of people coming right now from outside of the region to play,
Yes.
and probably more locals. So that's great.
That's it for the marketing for February.
Excellent. Any questions, Brad or Cindy? Or Gary?
Done here.
Any questions or thoughts? No. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the next topic, the 2021 Shennecossett rules, regulations, and rates.
So our only 2 choices, the 2% and 3% increases? Is that my understanding? Right?
You can look at whatever, but the last conversation that we all had, the board wanted to see a 2% and a 3% increase on, not on daily fees, but on memberships. So that's
Right.
what I prepared. But I can prepare anything that this board wants to see.
No, I had missed a meeting before, so I didn't know if we were still weighing options of 2%, 3%, and none, or are we just
Well, there was talk last conversation. There was talk about 0%. There was talk about 2% and 3%. The NGF study that the town had contracted for back in the early, well, it was 2003. They recommended that if a rate increase was being considered, then they would recommend small increments. They recommended a 3% increase. I think if you get beyond 3%, this is my opinion, then the membership or the customer, if you're talking about daily fees, can feel a little bit misused. I think that 3% or 2% is a reasonable increase if this board wants to move on an increase in season passes.
Margaret?
Yes, Cindy.
Usually when prices go up, there's a reason for it. I don't know if there are contractual obligations that are not evident in this report of the rates. I don't know if there are perceived increases in what Eric's gonna need to run the maintenance part of it. We're just throwing out blanket numbers and nobody's saying why. I guess I want to know why.
Eric, do you want to speak to the budget for FYE '22?
I don't have the budget in front of me. I think with steelworker contracts, they go up 2%, 3% every year. I'm pretty sure the benefits are probably on a whole going up a little bit as well. We're seeing expenses increase in areas. I know utilities, they told us to budget at a 2 to 3% increase as well. I think fuel costs went down a little bit, but we're budgeting more for irrigation water because that number is proven to be low in years like last year where we have to water a lot. So I'm not sure what the percent increase of the budget is from the current budget, but expenses do typically go up every year.
And the other larger item that we have is we're going to be purchasing reel grinders. We're replacing the current grinder that we have that's over 25 years old and we can no longer get parts for. And that comes in, I think it was about $74,000 for a new grinding machine. It's
Two
actually
grinding
two
machines.
Right.
The thing about the rates too, I mean, we've shown it, I don't have the other sheet in front of me from the last meeting, but our membership rates compared to other courses are lower.
Right.
So, a nominal increase to get more into the market of where other courses are, I would, think it's probably a good idea.
Are we going to continue to have the extra people cleaning carts and doing the COVID things next year?
There's been discussion of disallowing the single riding program or policy that we've been having this past year. But yes, my staff will continue to sanitize before the cart goes, after it comes back in. That is not going to change at least this year. But we have had some discussion about not having a single rider. That is, not having 4 carts go out for a foursome. And there are reasons for that. There's the wear and tear on the vehicles. You're doubling the wear and tear. Well, not everybody's doing that. So you can say it increases perhaps maybe 75% increase in wear and tear, fuel costs, wear and tear on the golf course. And so I personally, we certainly can, I'm sure that we'll have more discussion about that before we get into April. But I think it's probably reasonable to go back to, you probably came in the same car, and so you can go ahead and play golf in the same cart.
And for
What about
those,
people that don't come in the same car?
Well, I was just turning a phrase on that, Cindy.
Okay,
The fact is that I think we're past having to have people take single riding carts. Most golf courses have discontinued that policy.
So we'll just need to kind of pay attention to infection rates and things like that, and make sure when it's right time for the discussion, that we have the discussion at that point.
Some facilities have opted for an upcharge if
Yeah.
the player is insistent about that. You know, maybe a $5 upcharge, but I don't know. I don't know that. Certainly, if we all decide that that is an appropriate solution to in the way of a compromise, if the player wants to take a solo rider and pay an upcharge, then you know that certainly can be considered. But I think we need to have a discussion about that.
So me personally, given that we reduced the rate by 10% back in 2018, 19, somewhere in there, 17. I am not opposed to starting to work our way back towards kind of that number, especially given the bounce. I don't think we go in one fell swoop. I think we do it incrementally. And so I'm actually, for all the reasons that have been stated, I think 3% is a reasonable value. It's raising what, by $45 or so the resident rate, and by $48-50 the non-resident rate for the year. Is that correct?
Yes.
45 and 50, yeah.
Yep.
Margaret, if I could point out one thing,
Sure.
as the board considers the rates. I sent a spreadsheet that
That's what I'm looking
provided a
at.
history of rates from 2011. And if you look at that last column,
Mhm.
adult economy and seniors over that time frame have gone up over 18%. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to point that out. And, you know, as rates are being discussed, I would encourage a discussion about perhaps not increasing senior and adult economy. And I'm going to make one other
Family.
observation is, you know, we set up the associate, and the associate plus was set up to at a price point that was designed to encourage younger golfers that are getting into the game and perhaps don't have the money that an older, a player over 30, 35 would have. So I would also ask that the board at least consider not increasing the associate and the associate plus at this time.
Okay. So, yep. So the certainly I agree that given the fact that the adult economy, the senior, and the family have all gone up at a triple or 3 times the rate of the regular adult, I think it would be fair and reasonable to leave those at 0% increase. As far as the associate and the associate plus, I think, yes, we've got those rates there, but they are actually getting the ability to play probably as much or more golf than anyone at a fairly reduced wage. So I don't think that $25 is an unreasonable increase, considering we haven't done it yet to that associate rate, especially if we're going to go ahead and increase the adult rate.
Okay. I was just encouraging discussion.
Yep,
I
and
have
I'm
no
discussing.
influence on the advisory board's decision, but was just hoping they would consider those two.
Yep. I don't know, Brad, if you have an opinion.
Well, I thought you brought up a good point, and you also bring up a good point. That's probably the best value, and for those people those young people are going to use that membership more than anybody.
Yep.
And that's a good thing, by the way.
Well, it is, and in most golf courses, the people who are associate and associate plus, they're limited to weekdays and after X time on weekends at most courses. So the fact that they get a reduced rate and they get full access to the course, I think $25 is a reasonable ask for a rate increase for them. I mean, they're
I'm not
compared to
disagreeing
every
with
other course around here that does associate or associate plus, they've got one heck of a deal. Because they
Sure.
get full access.
Right, if you remember, before we decided to institute those two
Yep.
categories of membership, we had 7 members who were aged 22 to 35.
Correct.
That was pathetic. And so we've seen a great bounce. I'm glad to see it. I'm not, I'm on board with an increase in that category if it's decided to do that. But I'm glad that we have that bridge from the youth member to the adult member.
Yep. No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I just think that if $25 is a deterrent, then we're going to learn a lot about our associates and our associate plus members.
Todd, are you concerned that we might reverse the trend if we had that small increase?
No, I'm just making the point that it was a very positive thing that we introduced it that way.
Right.
And by every measure that introducing those two categories was a great success. I'm not adverse to a $30 increase on those two categories of member. I don't think it's going to cause any of our current associate and associate plus members to not join.
Agreed.
I agree.
I'm for what was it, $25 or $30? I can't remember.
Well, it's 3%. So I was just doing the math.
It's
Looks like it's
$30 on a 3% increase, basically,
Yeah.
which is less than most of those people's bar bills, by the way,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
one Saturday. Just saying.
Yep. Right with you.
I'd be for the 3% increase.
Me too.
And
All right. So Cindy, you okay if we make a motion this way?
You want me to make the motion to raise it to 3%?
So for those 3 categories and then 0% for the remaining categories.
right.
I'm sorry, go through that one more time for me.
Okay, 3% for the adult, associate, and associate plus.
Mm-hmm.
0% for the adult economy, senior, family, and youth.
Okay, so moved. The easy way, let him.
Okay. All right, Mark, you need that in English?
I don't know, Brad, did you capture that?
Yes,
Brad,
a motion to increase by 3% on all categories except for, and I'm trying to catch up on my writing.
it's okay.
Go ahead, Margaret. Those
Those four?
want to
Yeah.
leave alone.
Yep, the adult economy, senior, family, and youth.
Got it.
So the only three categories that will be affected, that will increase by 3% would be the adult, the associate, and the associate plus.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you, Todd.
What about the Ranger?
I don't see a ranger rate here.
It's on the 3% sheet.
Oh,
Under-
I'm still looking at the history sheets. Let me get there.
I'll have to add the Ranger. That was new this year.
That I I don't think that my opinion, I don't think that that should be included in the increase. I still don't have a full complement of rangers. They're paying basically half of a membership to work for us. It's not an easy job. If you decide that you want to increase it by 3%, then okay, there we go. But it's up to you. I still have to hire on at least 2 more guys.
So this is the second year of the ranger rate, right?
No, Mark, I think we did this just last year. No,
So this would be the second year.
Right, this would be the
This would
second year. Yeah.
And we were down by like 5 guys. It was you know,
That's fine.
and then we introduced this and we picked up 3 more guys, but we're still a couple guys down.
Okay, no, that's okay.
I'd like it to be attractive to attract guys to do not an easy job.
Mhm. So Cindy, you want to amend the motion for 0% on the ranger as well?
Okay,
Just
well,
limits. Okay,
amend the motion, and go to no increase on the ranger fee.
okay. So I will second the motion and now we can discuss. You got that, Brad?
Yes.
And yeah. Okay, any further discussion? Nope. Take a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'm
Cindy?
going to abstain on this, Margaret.
Okay, all those opposed? And those abstaining?
I abstain.
Okay. Okay, motion carries. So these will be the proposed rates that we take to the next point of discussion. Okay, Mark?
Yes. to the
Yes.
resolution.
So just so that everybody remembers, there is a joint meeting with the Golf Advisory Board and the Parks and Recreation Commission on Wednesday, February 10th at 7 PM.
Correct.
And that will be to come up with a final recommendation to go to the council.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay,
Mark, sorry, that's Wednesday, February 10th, 7 PM. The GAB meets with,
The
Parks and
Parks and Recreation Commission.
got it. Thank you. And that is, and the purpose of that meeting again?
Well, the process that the golf course rates go through is the Golf Advisory Board makes a recommendation. That recommendation goes to the Parks and Recreation Commission. The Parks and Recreation Commission discusses that, and then it makes a recommendation that moves up to the town council, and they either approve or adjust the rates. In the past, we've run into a situation where the Golf Advisory Board made one recommendation, the Parks and Rec Commission made a different recommendation, and I just felt like having a joint meeting so that all the parties involved could discuss it at the same time would be beneficial, in the hopes that when a recommendation comes out of the commission meeting, it would mirror, or at least everybody on both advisory board and the commission will be on the same page as to the recommendation that goes to the council.
Understood. Thank you.
Because there have been times where we've felt that the rec commission kind of blindsided us a bit. You know,
Got
not voicing an objection to a rate direction that the golf advisory board had taken. And then suddenly we're sitting with the rec commission and then we get a surprise increase or a surprise turn in the direction that they wanted to go with the rates. And so I think it's a great idea.
Understood. Thank you.
And that may still happen.
Yes. Just why we go to that meeting.
Right.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. I assume somebody will put together the summary sheet of what the rates will be. The other question that I
Yes.
have is, when will the effective date for the rates be? So if somebody comes in to get a new membership, at what point does the rate change? Because we no longer have that, we have this floating
Right.
thing now, so we need an effective date on these rates.
Mark, I
I
would
think-
think that it would be effective once the town council acts on that. Do you
Yeah, I
think?
was just going to say it would depend on when we can get it onto the council agenda. I would hope that we'll be able to do that in February. That's historically, that's when we've done this, is we usually, if the commission meeting is early enough in February, we try to follow up and get on the next available council meeting, which generally is February. If we could not, if it didn't work out, then we would do it as early in March as possible. And then at that point, it would become effective.
So
Mark
can I just
decided that-
clarify?
Yeah, Mayor Granatosky's got her hand raised, yes.
Thank you. So you want it to be done early. So if we can get it onto the cow agenda for the end of February, that would be your preference. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct.
Okay. Very good. So noted. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mayor, what was that meeting? that you s-
I don't know. Let me look again.
Committee of the whole.
Ron.
Yeah, she called it a cow meeting, which is a committee of the whole.
23rd, it would be the second committee of the whole meeting. Everything that we do has to go through committee first. So we'll go to committee of the whole on the 23rd of February, if that's your desire. And then it would be enacted at the March 2nd council meeting.
Thank you, Mayor.
Perfect. Any other new business?
Well, Margaret, the only other thing we need to go through is the golf course regulations.
Yes.
I think I
Hello.
did send that out, and we had proposed a few changes. Nothing significant. I think it was mostly just how we had phrased
Mhm.
various rules and regulations. There were some changes based on the new flex membership date. So we had to drop some of the old hard and fast dates. All the
Okay.
changes appear in, the additions appear in red. The strike throughs are what was dropped.
Can I make one minor suggestion right off the bat? On the holidays, typically Martin Luther King Day comes before President's Day. It's a minor detail.
Okay.
They're both holidays, obviously.
Margaret, I have a question.
Yes. Cindy.
Under rules and regulations governing play, capital C, players
Yes.
are permitted to use clubs from another player's bag. What is the reasoning for that? I mean, that usually slows down play a lot, but I'm just wondering how and why that got changed.
We decided that we didn't want to require somebody to make an additional expenditure for a rental club, and especially in the last year when it was it was recommended that golf courses not provide clubs that are used by different people. So that's the reason for that. We didn't want to discourage people from coming out to play. If somebody was coming in from out of town and they had wanted to play with a friend, we just decided that, well, the discussion was that we were not going to require that they spend an additional $25. If they didn't have a bag, they could play out of a friend's bag.
And Todd, how often does that happen, would you guess?
Probably 6 times a year.
Okay.
Sounds pretty insignificant.
Yep.
Thank you for the explanation.
Okay. I don't know. I didn't have any additional comments.
So Margaret, if there's no other changes, if we could just get a motion.
Yep, that's where I was headed.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah,
Make a motion to, I'm sorry.
go ahead, Cindy. You got it.
I make a motion to approve the changes as presented in Shennecossett Golf Course regulations as presented at this meeting.
Second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. The regulations are approved as amended.
Awesome.
Okay, now new business. Any additional new business?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I have a question for Eric. Eric, this is Brad. Thanks for deploying the easy lift devices that allowed us to play with flags. And I know they're probably a bit cumbersome for you guys. But what are we going to do moving forward? You know, the men's club donated those. That's fine. I'm not looking to get reimbursed for them. But what are we going to do about maintaining those in the future? Is that going to be something that your crew is going to be able to do and moving forward? I mean, I don't know how much longer we're going to be using these, I would imagine, until there's a significant amount of vaccinations out there that we're going to continue to use them.
Yeah, until we get directive from the Connecticut State Golf Association that we don't need them anymore, we'll leave them out there.
Okay.
They get pretty beat up. We've actually pulled pull them in 2 or 3 times and straighten them out, make sure they're working right. So we had a couple that got broken, one got stolen. So
Who would steal one for what?
they stole the whole flag. It was on it. So I don't know. I thought for sure I'd find it somewhere along the tracks or something this winter, but we have not found it. So if we're going to keep them out there, we can, we're going to have to get some more. But
Okay.
we'll leave them out as long as we can, as long as they want us to.
Okay. I know we bought 3 extras, so that means we're down to 2 spares now.
No, we actually had some that were broken. We had to use the spares. So
Oh.
right now, because of the stolen one, we have 17 of 18 out there. So we're short 1 right now with no spares.
Okay.
Do we need to address that missing one? Buy another one?
I would think we should buy a few more. I don't know what their minimum is, if you got to buy them in sets of 3 or 6 or 9 or what, but
I think 3 is the minimum.
so I don't know if you guys wanted to buy some more, or you're done buying them, you want us to buy them now, but once we,
I think we helped. I think that helped the course quite a bit with profits here. I know there were a lot that said they wouldn't have played if we didn't have them. So no,
Right.
the club's not going to continue to pay for those.
so yeah, we can look into getting a few, so we have a full set once the snow melts.
Okay,
Perfect.
thank you.
Wind's picking up.
Yes, it is.
Hear it blowing
My
all
lights
around.
have flickered twice.
Yeah. Scary. Okay. Thank you. Any other new business? Hearing none, we've talked about the joint meeting on February 10th at 7 p.m. I assume we'll get the Zoom invitations in a timely fashion.
You will, probably next Tuesday or early Wednesday morning, I would suspect.
Okay. And our next meeting is
Ooh.
exactly March 1st. Or do we skip March and go to April? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I believe I always forget this. Well, there's no way to find out.
According to the,
The next meeting is April 5th.
Right, there we go. Excellent. So the next meeting will be April 5th. And we'll have an update on progress through the town council on the rates before then, I imagine.
Yep.
Okay. So with that, can I get a motion to adjourn if we're ready?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yep, all in favor?
All
Aye.
right.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
awesome.
Thank you
All right.
all.
Thank
We'll
you,
see everybody
everyone.
on the 10th.
Thank you all. Good night.
Bye.
Right.
Good night.
Mhm.